Hi, this is Colleen from Keeping the Peace, Defensive Handgun Training for Women, and today we're going to be talking about an issue that you don't see much about on YouTube. It's a little bit maybe embarrassing to talk about, but I think it needs to be addressed because I get tons of questions from students, both in concealed carry and defensive handgun classes, about how on earth do I go to the bathroom while I'm wearing a gun on my waistline. So that's what we're going to discuss today. There are 3 variables that you need to consider when you're deciding which method you're going to use. The first would be the safety of not only yourself, but people in adjacent stalls or in rooms that are adjacent to the restroom. Retaining your gear in its position, not letting it fall onto the floor, and cleanliness, not letting your gun touch things that are contaminated. So if you're in a public restroom, obviously that's going to be a concern. Actually, I'm going to discuss 4 different methods. Okay, there's lots more than that, but these are the 4. Well, there's 3 that are pretty prevalent, 1 that I'm going to say please don't do. Okay, the first 2 are the safest. Keep in mind that a holstered gun is a safe gun, so anytime you can choose a method where the gun remains in the holster, that's going to be the safest, because anytime you pull it out of the holster, then you have room for error with both muzzle direction and trigger finger. So keeping it in the holster is best. The first method, which I'm going to show you here, is called the back looping method. I was told about this method by Lynn Gibbons at Rangemaster in Memphis, Tennessee. We took a gun sight class together, and I thought it was a brilliant but simple idea, so I thought I would share it with you. What it involves is unbuckling the belt and then back looping the belt into the first loop. I'll show you that here. Hopefully you can see my belt. I'll get down a little further so you can see. So I'm just going to undo the belt buckle and then back loop it into the first loop. What this does is it prevents the weight of the gun in the holster from falling forward and just crashing to the floor. So if you have had that experience before, that would prevent that from happening. So that's one option, the back looping method. The second method would be choosing a holster that would allow you to remove the holstered gun from the belt without having to undo your whole belt and slide it off. So a snap-around holster or a sticky holster, something like that. There's probably more than that, but that's just what comes to the top of my head. What you would do would be hang your purse on the back of the door in the bathroom, remove the entire holstered gun from the belt line, stick it into the purse, and leave it while you do your business. When you're all finished, all you need to do is just reattach it to the belt. That's another very safe method because the gun remains holstered, and a holstered gun is a safe gun. The third method is actually unholstering the gun and lying it on the back of the toilet tank. This is not always an option because you're needing to consider a lot of variables here. I'm going to show you a slide. Okay, so you saw in that slide that you need to be considering the walls that surround the bathroom, the stalls that are adjacent to yours. You can't just point that muzzle any which way. You know your firearms rules. You're not supposed to point the muzzle toward anything you don't want to destroy. So you can't point it toward adjacent stalls. And if there's a room on the back side of the bathroom that could have people in it, then you can't point it that direction either. So that kind of rules out every direction. You, of course, don't want to turn it around and point it toward yourself. So there are not very many situations where the back of the toilet tank is really a safe option. There may be a few. If you do come into a situation where you feel like you can be safe with that with your muzzle direction, please be careful with trigger finger safety when you're drawing the gun out, and muzzle direction as you're getting from the holster to the toilet tank. You're responsible for all of that, so you have to make sure you maintain complete control over both of those factors. Also, all toilet tanks are not flat, so keep that in mind too. There are curved ones, there are slanted ones, and the last thing you want is for your gun to slide from the back of the tank right into the toilet. That would be a disgusting thing to happen, because guess what? You're going to have to go fishing for it. So make sure you keep that in mind. I'm going to show you another slide of a method that I would say please don't ever do this. Okay, this is the door hook option, and it is, in my opinion, not an option. You don't want anything in the trigger guard area of your gun unless your sights are on target and you decided to take a shot. And that's not going to be the case when you're in a bathroom. So keep in mind that the hook on the back of the bathroom door is meant to hold your purse or your coat, not your gun. Remember, if you want to use the hook, just use a holster that you can remove and stick it into the purse. Okay, there are a couple of options that I have heard people talk about. I don't use either one of these, but I thought I might bring them up. The first one is, I hear a lot of men talking about this one. When they need to sit down and do their business, they use the underwear as a sling and just lay the gun in that. I want to point out a couple of things. First of all, to me that's just disgusting, but you know, if you want to wrap your gun in your underwear, I guess that's your own prerogative, but there are some safety concerns about that. If I'm sitting in a stall, I've got people adjacent to me, I've got my legs, my underwear between them, sorry we're getting personal, but how am I going to lay that gun and have my muzzle pointed in a safe direction? If I point it sideways, I'm pointing it at either one of my legs plus adjacent stalls. If I point it back this way, it's obvious what I'm pointing it at. If I point it out that way, then if it's a public restroom, sorry, I'm putting my hand in front of the camera. If it's a public restroom, then there could be people in front of that stall washing hands or walking from stall to stall. So really, sitting with your underwear as a sling, there's really no safe direction for your muzzle that I can think of. If you can think of a safe direction, then please tell me, but maybe I'm missing something. But to me, that option is both disgusting and unsafe, okay? The other option would be, ladies, in your purse, keep a compartment completely empty, like nothing in it at all, and actually unholster the gun, place it into that specific compartment on the back of the door while it's hanging. If you're using a holster that can't easily be removed from the belt, that could be an option. Just please, if you're going to do that, remember, maintain complete control over the trigger finger safety and the muzzle direction as you're going from waistband to purse and then from purse back to waistband. Also, make sure that nothing else gets in that compartment, because you don't want anything in the muzzle and you don't want anything in the trigger guard area. So these are some options to think about. I'm sure there's lots more out there that I have not thought about, so please feel free to leave a video response or a comment to enlighten me to some other options. Or if you think of something that's unsafe that I haven't mentioned about any of these options I've presented, please tell me, because you know, my mind is open. I'm always ready to learn something. So this is an issue that you don't see discussed often, so I hope that this video helps some people kind of grapple with this issue and figure out how they're going to handle things. It's a process, just getting to the point where you're carrying a gun every day, and this is a big part of that, because it's something you have to deal with several times a day. So hope it's helpful. Colleen from Keeping the Peace. Have a great day. God bless.